iHeart, get ready. Fantasy football is here. Welcome to the Scout Fantasy Show. ScoutFantasy.com is home to the Fantasy Football World Championships and the best players in the world. Real money winners giving their secrets to help you win. Now exclusively on iHeart. This is the Scout Fantasy Show with your host, the one, the only, Dr. Roto.
It's Dr. Roto. Get out the insurance cards. Get out the copay. The office is open, my friends. Now, I know you're waiting for my podcast talking about the teams, the White Sox, but that's going to have to wait a little bit because there was a very big industry draft last night that I was a part of. We call it the LABR Mixed Draft, the Legal Alternative Baseball Reality. 15 teams. It was a big one. A lot of people that you might know. RotoWire's Jeff Erickson. Fantasy Sports Network's Jake the All-In Kid Seeley, Ray Murphy from Baseball HQ, Stefania Bell from ESPN, Steve Gardner from USA Today, Scott Pianowski from Yahoo Sports, Todd Zola from Masters Ball, Howard Bender from Fantasy Alarm, just to name a few, and of course Razzballs, Rudy Gamble, some guys from Fangraphs, Paul Sporer, Alan Harrison, Mike Podhorzer, and Brett Sayer. There are a lot of people there. A lot of good teams. So I'm going to cover my draft because, hey, it's my draft, and I know what I was thinking. I don't know what anybody else was thinking. I just know what I was thinking. And if this helps you with your draft, then I'm happy it did. I did something very unusual in last night's draft, but I'm pretty happy with the results. So I had pick number 9, first round, I take Bryce Harper. I could have taken Manny Machado. He was there for me because Max Scherzer went 8, which was a little surprising. I was happy about it. And I thought about the Machado button. I thought about pressing it, but I decided not to, and I took Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper's 24 years old, and if this draft was next year, and I had an advanced copy of the draft notes, would it shock you if Bryce Harper was a number 1 pick next year? It wouldn't me. It would shock me if Machado was number 1, but not if Bryce Harper was number 1, which is why I took him. And I've told you this before, you play to win the game. I don't play to come in third. Nobody remembers you if you came in third. They remember you if you win. Second pick, Starling Marte. You're going to give me 40 stolen bases? I'm going to take it. You're going to give me a guy who's going to hit 280, 290, 15 home runs and 40 stolen bases. I'm going to lock that in visionary style. Third round, I take A.J. Pollock for the same reason. So here's my realistic expectation, okay? I say Harper gets 35 home runs. I say Marte gets 15 and Pollock gets 15. That's 65 home runs. Now, that's a little conservative, but I'll throw it out there, right? Now we'll say Harper with 95. Well, let's do stolen bases. 20 for Harper, 40 for Marte, 25 for Pollock. 85. My first 3 players, 65 home runs and 85 stolen bases. You can't ask for much better than that. You can't. 90 stolen bases from your first 3 is gold. I mean, that'll put you right there. I don't need another guy, and I'm going to get a few points in that category. So I like my starting point. Now, people have said 3 outfielders. Dr. Roto, what are you doing? You're crazy, right? There's 15 teams in this league. Everybody needs 5 outfielders. So that means there's 75 outfielders needed. That's a lot. I mean, there are people taking guys at the end who don't even play. Do I want Seth Smith? Do I want Steven Souza? Do I want Scott Schebler? Or do I want Bryce Harper, Starling Marte, and A.J. Pollock? Ask yourself that question. All right, round 4, I took Kyle Seager. I have a man crush on Kyle Seager. Matt Modica, big pitching guru, said, why didn't I take Yu Darvish? I don't love Yu Darvish. I would have taken Ian Desmond. Had Ian Desmond made it to me, he sniped me, I would have taken Desmond. I would have debated Seager, but I would have taken Desmond. I would have wanted more steals and more home runs and Colorado. And I wouldn't have passed that up. But Seager made sense because he's a rock. He is a rock. You put him in the lineup, he's a rock. So here we are, the first 4 rounds. I don't have a pitcher. But then I get some pitching. I get Carlos Martinez in 5. I like John Lester, he went. I like Chris Archer, he went. Justin Verlander went. It's fine. It was between Martinez and Carrasco, and Carlos Carrasco cannot stay healthy. I'll take my chances with Carlos Martinez. Now, round 6, I was a bit early on a guy, but I don't care. I don't want to be tied to ADP. If you're tied to ADP, I think you don't win. You compete, you do well, but you don't win. And when I took Aaron Sanchez in round 6, I was very happy. Could I have taken Kyle Hendricks? Yes. Why didn't I? Because Kyle Hendricks gave me his career year last year. It doesn't get any better than what he did, but I still think Aaron Sanchez has room to grow. And Martinez Sanchez, I'm liking that. I like Martinez Hendricks, but I love Martinez Sanchez. And when Jim Bowden is asked on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio, give me a pitcher, and Jim Bowden's first guy is like Aaron Sanchez, I know I'm in good company. Because if Bowden likes him, I know I'm on the right track. Round 7, I take Zach Greinke, who has been a disaster in Arizona. Bad park, I get it, but a good pitcher. What if I said to you this is a buying opportunity? What if I told you next year that Zach Greinke was a 3rd-round pick? Would you be shocked? Would you be like, really? Zach Greinke? Or would you be like, yeah, he had a bad year in 2016, but 2017 is better. That wouldn't shock you. So Martinez, Sanchez, and Greinke. Greinke's my 3. My 3 when other guys are taking guys at 2. I get my closer in round 8 in Kelvin Herrera. Mind you, I'll just call him Kelvin Herrera Roto. I love him like a child. So I've got my 3 starters and I've got my closer. So I went from having no pitching to Martinez, Sanchez, Greinke, Herrera. I'm okay. I just went to the front of the line. When Steve Gardner, good friend of mine, takes Tanaka as his first pitcher and Jarrett Cole's his second, and Jarrett Cole's injured, I'm ahead of the game. Not that I don't like Tanaka. Or Stefani Bell goes Jacob deGrom and Jose Quintana. Yeah, that's okay, but I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Round 9, I do something interesting. I don't have a first baseman at this point. So I take Jake Lamb, and I'm going to put him at my corner. But in my head, Jake Lamb is going to give me numbers of a first baseman. Right? So that's why I take him, because he can hit me 30 home runs, and I believe I need that from my first baseman. So effectively, quote-unquote, Jake Lamb is my first baseman. I know he's playing third. You don't have to correct me. I get it. But conceptually, in my head, he's playing first base. I come back in round 10. I take Kevin Gausman, who I love. So now I'm Martinez, Sanchez, Greinke, and Gausman. I can live with that. Then in round 11, I take Eric Thames, or Thames, or however you would like to pronounce it. But he's going to be my quote-unquote corner, right? Because the Brewers got rid of Chris Carter, brought in Thames, who has a lot of power, may have a little speed, and he's going to play first base for them. So I didn't get Brandon Belt because he went right after I took Gausman, which I have no problem with, but I like Belt. It was either Belt or Gausman for me. Maybe retrospectively I should have taken Belt, but so be it. I just love getting Gausman as my 4th guy. But Thames, I think, could be a very good player. Jonathan Scope comes to me in round 12. At this point, I'm very happy because Jonathan Scope is always overlooked at a draft. Guy has 25 home runs, 85 RBIs, going to hit 250 or 260. What's wrong with that? And I don't need the speed. I already have speed. And don't forget, Thames can get me 10 stolen bases. I come back in round 14. I get Randall Grichuk, who is capable of hitting 35 home runs. So my home runs have Seager, Lamb, Thames, Grichuk. I'm okay. I'm okay with power. Oh, did you forget Bryce Harper? Then in round 15, I take Max Kepler, who was there not like a month last year where Max Kepler was the best hitter in the American League? Seriously, wasn't he the best hitter in the American League? Now, I don't know if he does it again, but I'm willing to see. Round 16, I take Tom Murphy, who's in Colorado. I know he's going to share time with Walters, but I think at the end of the day, Murphy's the better hitter. I think he gets 350 to 400 at-bats, and I think he gets 10 to 15 home runs. I'm willing to take that chance. The one miss I had was in round 17. I was really hoping that Didi Gregorius made it to me, and he didn't. He got picked about 3 or 4 picks before I went. So I took Brandon Phillips, and Adam Ronis didn't like that pick, but I do. Brandon Phillips goes from Cincinnati, where the lineup was sketchy, to Atlanta where the lineup's pretty good. He's probably going to hit 5th or 6th in that lineup. And why couldn't this guy hit 15 home runs and steal 15 bases? I think he can. He's playing for a contract. So I'm a big fan of Brandon Phillips. I have no problem using him. Round 18, I take Dellin Betances, who probably should have gone earlier. Now, I know he doesn't get saves. Not too many. But man, he gives me numbers. And he gives me strikeouts. And he could vulture some wins. I think he's an interesting player. In round 19, I went outside the box. Now, I like making picks like this because I like to be the smartest guy in the room. Now, will it pay off? I don't know, but I'm willing to find out. Yoan Moncada is arguably the best minor leaguer. The best minor leaguer in baseball. The White Sox, basically gave up Chris Sale for him. So, you've got to think that they want to play this guy. I need to hold Moncada on my reserve, which I'm fine with, and at some point I can trade him. To whom? I don't know, but somebody will need his speed because speed is hard to find. I take Moncada, hopefully any time before the All-Star break, and I move him. If I still have him, it's okay. I have Yangervis Solarte who'll play that spot. I take Solarte out, I put Moncada in, boom. But my goal is to trade Moncada. I'm going to take Moncada, I'm going to take something else, I'm going to package it 2 for 1 for a better player in a position I need. Because I don't really need Moncada. I got plenty of speed. But I'm willing to take the chance that somebody will pay me for him. One guy will pay me for him. I don't know who that guy is, but one guy will. I mentioned Solarte in round 20. Nobody ever takes him. Let me be the first guy to say I really like him. He's just steady Eddie. Steady Yangervis. I don't know if that's Eddie in another language, but whatever. Guy hits 280, guy hits 20 home runs, 75 RBIs, lock it in. Round 21, I take Orlando Arcia, who can give me speed. Not like I need a lot more speed, but you can never have enough speed, right? And maybe I could trade Arcia for a shortstop somewhere. I'm willing to look into that. I can trade Arcia in a Didi Gregorius type of deal because I could use the power more than the speed, but I'll take Arcia's speed. And what if he hits second in that lineup? For Milwaukee, I'll be okay with that. James McCann is my catcher. Not a bad second catcher. And Charlie Tilson is my reserve outfielder. And by the way, he could be the starting center fielder for the Chicago White Sox this year. What if he's the White Sox outfielder? Would that shock you? Wouldn't shock me. And I think a lot of people are misjudging him. I like him. Then I needed a couple more pitchers. I looked at Luis Severino, Eduardo Rodriguez, and Drew Storen. Now, firstly, I think that Drew Storen could be the closer for the Reds. I do. And if he is, boom! I got Herrera, Storen, and Betances. Sign me up. If he's not, I'll cut him. But worth a shot. Luis Severino and Eduardo Rodriguez, these are what we call post-hype sleepers. Oh, Severino, the best guy to come to the Yankee Stadium. How good is he going to be? I love this guy. Oh, my God, he's great, he's great, he's great. Oh. And then he imploded. Woo! Phew! Stinky. Is he that bad? Was he as good as we made him out to be, and was he as bad as he looked? Or is he somewhere in between? I think he's somewhere in between and maybe even closer to good. So you know what? I'll take a shot on him. Eduardo Rodriguez as well. Had some knee issues, not fully healthy. But Dave Dombrowski thinks he's going to be the key to their season. I do too. I think he either starts the year in the rotation or he's the first guy up if somebody gets hurt. And this guy can play. He can throw. So I'm all in there. If one of those three guys turns out to be a star, it's great. Oh, by the way, did I forget to talk about Julio Urias? I think I did. So let's go back over that. I took him in round 13. So I'm Martinez, Sanchez, Greinke, Gossman, Urias. And then I need one of Severino or Gonzalez to hit. Boom. Or Rodriguez, excuse me. Boom. Because Urias is going to give me 160 innings of awesome. 160 innings of awesome. And I'll find a guy later in the season. I went with Jose Reyes around 27. The Mets are always injured, whether it's Neil Walker, David Wright, Asdrubal Cabrera. Jose Reyes is like that super utility guy. And you know what? If he does play all over the place, I can use him all over the place. So, in fact, it would be the best thing for me if he played a little second, a little short, a little third. I will use him everywhere and be happy about it. I took Michael Conforto in round 28. Look, he's one injury or a trade away from being a pretty good player. So I was very happy with him. And finally, Bruce Maxwell. Who's Bruce Maxwell? He's a catcher for the Oakland A's. On his BABIP was like, I don't know, 373. It's pretty good. Just saying. Guy was a hitting machine last year. So there you have it. That was my LABR team. Is it perfect? Well, nothing's perfect. It's a 15-team league. Am I happy with it? Absolutely. Am I going to win this league? I don't know the answer to that question. I know I'm going to try. I know I'm going to do everything that I can. But I know that I made what I consider to be high-stakes winning picks. I missed out on one or two guys. It's okay. I'll either trade for them or I'll move on from them. I can't get locked into that. But you know what I'd like to lock you guys into? ScoutFantasy.com. Enter the promo code ROTO. That's ROTO. Pay for 1 month, get 2 more for free. How about our NASCAR preseason rankings coming out by Brian Polking on the 15th? Oh, by the way, did I mention Happy Valentine's Day, everybody? And especially to Mrs. Roto, who I know probably doesn't listen to this podcast because she's tired of listening to me. But hey, she's the best thing that I got going. So I'm very happy that she is my Valentine. And I hope you spend Valentine's Day with somebody you care about. And if you don't, I care about you because I'm glad that you're listening to this podcast. And I appreciate you being part of the Scout Army. So remember, promo code ROTO, ROTO, pay for 1 month, get 2 more for free. Go to scoutfantasy.com and we'll get you the team outlooks. We'll get you the NBA optimizer. We will get you hooked up for this season and for DFS. All right, guys, getting back to the baseball teams tomorrow. You know it, but that was some LABR talk today. Have a great one. Be well and take care.
Thanks for listening to the Scout Fantasy Show. There's never been a better time to join the Scout Army. Visit scoutfantasy.com. Use the promo ROTO for 2 months free. And don't forget, fantasy players, please thumbs up the podcast on the iHeart app. See you next time. Go Scouts!